So, hi, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the session. So, just wanted to invite those of you who have given the second slot of the paper so that I get a feel of what's happened in the paper. Those of you who are available around and have taken the second slot, please join this link. Still getting reports about the second slot. And broadly, थोड़ा सा just waiting for a few people to join in. तो मोर और लेस जो जो रिपोर्ट्स आ रहे हैं मोर और लेस द रिपोर्ट्स आ रहे हैं इज दैट थोड़ा सा there's a bit of a drop in the question quality between slot 1 slot 2 में DILRs में specifically DILR में एक set one set was on the easier side and remaining one set was on the easier side and the remaining sets were as per this thing. So Tejas has just joined us, and those of you who are live can come in and talk on the chat. Hi Tejas, welcome. You took slot 2.
Yes, hi, good evening, sir. Yes, I was in slot 2.
So how's your experience?
Am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible. You are audible.
Right. So, I am currently in my second year here at IIM Amritsar. Last year I had 95 percentile with 99.4 in DILR. So, according to me, this time VARC and DILR were on the easy side for slot 2, and quant was little on the difficult side. So, DILR actually
VRC and DLR was
Yes, sir.
When I'll speak, I'll mute you and then you can unmute yourself and speak. According to you, the VRC and the DILR were on the easier side than last year.
Yes, sir, definitely. VARC and DILR were easier, quant was difficult.
You mean DILR, if you look at 21 slots in DILR, let's focus on one section at a time. So if you focus on the 21 slots of DILR, there's one very easy set in that slot. On every slot.
Yes, sir. Actually, I gave CAT 2020. In that, I shared my score. 21, I did not attempt, sir.
Okay, you're talking about against 2020. So against 2020,
Correct.
you found DILR easy.
Yes, sir, definitely. In 2020, I attempted 11 with 100% accuracy. This time, I have attempted 14, and I am confident on 13 to 14 correct answers. Also, there was one DI question, which was very straightforward. So 5 questions were easy pickings. I mean, everybody can do that. Just we need to look at the graph and calculate revenue minus cost. Just that was needed to be calculated.
Okay.
Then, other than that, there was one based on route was given in 4 different cities with one warehouse, and we had to just plan that how our person will go through all the cities depending on the demand from each city, and the demand was like a binomial. So 40% chances that demand will be A, 60% it will be B. Like this probability and demand was given for all 4. So that was a little tricky, but still it was on the easy side only, just a mix of 2-3 concepts. That was also doable. Other than that, one was on salesman. That was a difficult set. I could not attempt it. I spent 2-3 minutes on that, but I could not figure out how to do. Then there was one on the Venn diagrams where there are 320 products, and half of them were domestic, half foreign. Some of them were cosmetics, and some were natural or something like that. So then we were given 5 to 6 instructions, like half of the domestic are foreign, most have FDA approval, some have EU approval, etc. So at first glance, it looked very tough, but once you read the questions, so the answers were manageable. So I think these three sets were doable out of the five, and there was one more I cannot recall right now, but that was also moderate to easy only.
When you talked about revenue minus cost, huh?
Right, sir. Revenue minus what? That basically we just got two graphs. One graph was revenue against cost, and the other graph was new sales people this year against total strength of employees. So that was for four companies, A, B, C, D, against 4 years, 2019, 2020, 21, 22. So questions were like, in 2019, which company had the highest profit? So profit is just revenue minus cost. That formula was also given. Then there was some turnover. That also formula was given. We just had to calculate. It was very basic.
So it seems that the 22 slot 2 DILR was easier not just than 2020. It was also easier than the slot 1 DILR. The slot 1 where you didn't have this easy set, so to say. The one doable set, and the remaining were kind of tough sets in the slot 1. So this will then my estimate will be to that this will kind of turn out to be the same as last year's numbers. So somewhere around 30 to 33 marks would be 30 to 33 marks in this section would be the 99 percentile level for the DILR section in this case, because of the fact that you've got 15 marks here, which is a simple this thing. Only factor that is pulling down the marks this year is the fact that instead of 6-4-6-4, the questions were 5-5-5-5. So what happens is, when you have questions which are 5-5-5-5 in a 6-4-6-4 format, you know that the 6 question sets will be difficult ones, and the 4 question sets will be slightly easier. Hamisha hota nahi, but that's what you assume. So you choose a set which is if you get into a 6 question set and you're not able to solve it, then as a strategy you'll do the 4 question sets in the next 15-20 minutes, and then if you've got time, we'll come back to the 6 question set. Yahan pe, since you have, as you yourself say, the salesman question was on the tough side. So there was one 5-mark question which was kind of a bomb for everybody. So and recognizing that would have been difficult because everything has 5 questions. You could not point out based on number of questions saying that this one is the one to avoid. If somebody gets this is the first set, it becomes difficult. Nonetheless, agar ye set first set mein mila bhi or 12 to 15 minutes agar chala gaya, then you still have recovery time because the other sets are normal. So in the remaining 25-27 minutes, you can at least do 2, if not 3. So this gives me a feeling that that more or less we are at the same level as CAT 21 in terms of the scores here. My prediction about scores in the first slot was that the DILR would drop score-wise. For the 99 percentile, it dropped around 4 marks, 4 to 5 marks. And one good way to look at, and this for all of you who are online, one good way to look at, hi Arun, welcome to the session. And anybody else who wants to join, we'll be having a short session, but I'll be doing a full analysis session of the slots towards the end of the day. We'll be having one at 8 o'clock. So one good way to look at where the cutoffs are going to be, etc., is to try to identify what the 99 percentile range is for each of the sections. So typically, if you score 99 percentile in each of the 3 sections, the addition of the 99 percentile score in each of the 3 sections will end up giving you a score, a total score, a net score, which will end up at around 99.7 percentile. So once you can mark the 99.7 percentile score, what is this 99.7 percentile score? Around 10% below that, 10% score below that. This is 99.7 percentile. So around 10% score below that, you will have the 99 percentile. 10 to 12% below that, you'll have the 99 percentile. So you can actually mark out the 12 and 99 percentile scorer in this context. So Anirudh, what is your experience? Would you want to speak?
Yes, sir. So the thing was ki I was more prepared on the LR side, but
Ah,
surprisingly, in the slot 2 it was more on the DI. I think all the sets were data intensive. I found VARC was moderate. It was doable, and the quants was bit lengthy. And I felt that DILR was on the tougher side.
you found the other on the tougher side. You didn't find
Yes, sir.
this.
One set was very easy. That was of on data interpretation. It was very easy, but uh, the thing was the first set that the salesman. I tried to solve it because the language was very easy, but after solving, like I thought I could land nowhere. So I found it very tough, and uh, this I was able to do two questions on this the second set, which was on Venn diagram. So on Venn diagram, I was able to do two questions. So I was like, I have attempted around 8 questions in the DILR part. PRC was doable. The Some questions were on critical reasoning. Quants was majorly it was PNC. There were two questions, but it was on the easier side. Arithmetic was a bit lengthy, and I found
We'll come
algebra
to
also.
in a bit.
Yes, sir.
We'll come to those in a bit. But tell me about this Venn diagram question.
Yes, sir.
Was it how would you rate the difficulty level of Venn diagram? Tejas, you can also speak, and Anirudh.
Sir, the
Yes.
Venn
So
diagram, I
regarding
would rate it higher than moderate, but it was not very difficult to do. It was a bit time taking. If I would say it was a bit time taking. Uh,
So Lindy, what about you, Tejas?
yes, sir. It was. I found it lengthy.
Yes, sir. So Venn diagram, at first glance, it was very confusing, but all the instructions that were given were not required to find out the solution. So because they were not just like one diagram with three sets, the trick was that the products are either cosmetic or natural. Then they are either domestic or foreign, and they are either FDA approved or EU approved. So it was difficult, at least for me, to visualize how to make the Venn diagrams, but then when we read the statements and the questions, then we could relate that without solving any Venn diagram, you can actually reach to the answer. So I think that part for me, it took time to realize that. But I feel most of the people would have read the question first and got it straight away. So we can keep the difficulty as moderate. But I think if you try to solve it, I don't think it is solvable like that.
Okay, do you think it was lengthy?
Yes, sir. Lengthy because sir, initially no one would know that you have to read just few instructions and it will be done. So there are lots of instruction and difficult to grasp. And it's a new concept of question was there. Like this type of question I have not seen in the. I have taken 4 to 5 attempts, but I have not seen this type of question. So that is the reason it can be a little lengthy.
Okay. So I think we'll close our analysis at this point that DILR will remain, the 99 percentile point will remain at 32 33. Now let's come to VRC. Compared to the last year's papers, what do you think VRC was? Was it tougher? The first lot feedback that we got was that although the passages were easy, but the questions in the passages were very twisted and had required a lot of analysis. So would you agree to that?
Yes, sir.
Was it
Sir, I think one VRC was quite straightforward. It was on octopuses. So it was technical VRC only. We just had to read through and directly answers were there. Technical terms were asked, like how is octopus different from their cousins, like that. All of that was clearly written in the passage. So that was easily doable by everyone. Then there were three more VARC. One was on psychology. That was a little on moderate side. All the questions from that were like based on the passage you can infer. Then there was one question that amongst the four options below, which option has words that can summarize. And like 4 to 5 words were given, that's it. So based on that, so that was also based on the understanding of your comprehension. All
That
the
is
questions in
a good question. That's the words that we summarize is normally a difficult question to answer.
Right, sir.
Right.
And they were very similar, the options, so it was difficult. That set was little moderate side.
Uh,
Other two sets were less than moderate, sir. Easy to moderate, we can consider. So
okay.
out of the four RCs, we can say that three were doable, and one
Uh,
was little difficult. But if your reading speed is good, more in the fourth one also, someone could attempt.
okay. So basically similar to last year.
Sir, I can compare with 2020. 2020 was tough. So 2022 was very easy compared to 2020 BARC.
Is there a factor of better preparation from your side that we are calling it 22 easy? Easy?
Sir, so I've been doing MBA. I'm enrolled in the course since 2 years, so I have not prepared. But maybe over time it could have improved, sir. I'm not sure.
Yeah. So if you have improved over time and you've not, I mean, see, typically when I want a comparison with last year's paper, I want you to compare it to with your current skill level. If at your current skill level, if you see last year's paper and you see this year's paper, would you find it easy or tough? Just when I install the CAT paper, I find everything easy. So that's because my level is
So it
low,
was.
right?
Uh,
Yeah, I mean,
Sir,
tell me.
I felt that it was same as the previous year. I have solved the previous year question, and if I compare it to the slot two, it was on the similar level. Yeah, as Tejas said, the passages were easy to read, but
Uh,
some questions were like more. Some questions where people would have confused in the two options. So
uh,
there were on the options were very close to each other, and
typically,
2 to 3 questions which needed a good reasoning side. So I would rate it was on the same level as compared to the previous year.
right. So the RCs are similar. The verbal is slightly easier than last year.
Yes, sir, the para summary, the passages were short. So, and also it was replaced the paragraph completion. So there was only one question on this odd man out and para jumble, and 2 questions were on the uh, passage completion. So verbal was a bit easier, which I felt.
Yeah. So that is consistent across this thing. But when you replace an odd man out question with a paragraph completion question, a paragraph completion question is always going to be easier than an odd man out question. So this is the reason for your
Yes, sir.
scores to go up a little bit. Uh, but given the fact that this is similar and this is happening only on two questions, I think I would put the verbal cutoff to be right about where it was last year. So
Yes,
for
sir.
99% verbal, I would rate it at somewhere around 42 to 45 marks. उसी range में रहेगा वो. I don't think there's going to be much change in this. Right? So उसी से सब कुछ derive होता है. I mean, if last year 2021 the verbal 99 percentile was at the same level 40 to 45 और इस साल भी उसी level पे है more or less. तो बाकी percentiles भी more or less similar level पे रहेंगे as last year. So you can, if you're getting a 30 in verbal, you can check what 30 out of 72 gave you last year and what that gave people who gave that last year, and take your percentile based on that. So broadly, it's going to remain the same in that context, right? Anybody else would like to say something? Ritesh says VRC 14. I did 14 attempts is decent. Depends on what your strategy was. Was verbal a strong point, or was it something that you were defending? The strong points of verbal to 14 attempts is not very good. But if it was a defense section for you, a defending section for you, then 14 attempts is good, especially if you got around 90% accuracy. DILR was tough. Two sets were close to unsolvable at the time. Would Anirudh agree to that?
Yes, sir, I
One
agree on it.
unsolvable, very difficult to solve. What about the other one? Which one? Which was the other one which had
So
that feature?
Sir, actually, the thing was I've not seen completely. I didn't read that the diagram one because I couldn't understand the language of that passage. So the last part was very easy, which was a traditional DI question. The language of the third set, which was that salesman, was very easy. The language was easy, but when we tried to solve it, we could get out nowhere because it was really unsolvable for me. So I wasted around 7 to 8 minutes there. And then coming to the Venn diagram one, so there was less time in hand, so I could solve like 2 to 3 question in it. But it was like bit more understanding the language and constraint in it. But it was solvable on my part. It was solvable. And sir, I couldn't say about that passage one. The first set, I couldn't uh, comment on it.
Shubhankar, come to the chat. You have this thing about this thing. What is your opinion? Yes, Shubhankar.
Hello, hi sir.
Hi, hi. Tell me.
Yeah, I actually mentioned in the chat that two sets were close to unsolvable because in one of the sets I remember, so it was a Venn diagram type of question where it was like six variables, like the number which was like 320 students or people, they were divided. I'm sorry, 320 products were divided in two categories of nutrition, and one was cosmetic, and they were further divided in like foreign products or domestic products, and there was one other division which was on the basis of that only. So like six divisions was there, and the data was not very proper regarding this, so that was one unsolvable set for me.
Which one was that? Could you repeat that?
The one which consisted of I remember 320 products, so it was like a Venn diagram question only.
Okay. Okay. This one, which Tejas found it easy, but I think Tejas' preparation, especially now that you have studied 2 years at IIM, Tejas, you will find these things slightly easier than the normal center.
Sir,
Right? So,
actually, the thing is, this was just a different type of question that we faced. And first, I thought it was algebra question, so I was solving using linear equations. But then later, I realized that it is not like that. Even if you just read one or two instructions that were given, like pointers, helpers, so that you relate it with the total number of products. So out of the five, two questions were direct, without even calculating, you could solve. But then again, it is just, I think that the type of question was different, so maybe it took time to adapt to it.
right. So, ठीक है, I think more or less, मतलब, I think people would find the Janta would find two questions tough here. One question was obviously straight. Everybody's agreed on that. So I would think that 2,000 people, not 2,000 people, because slot two would have been given by around 60, 70,000 people. Out of 70,000 people, 99 percentile is 7,000 people. No, sorry, 700 people. So 700 people would be there जो दो set solve कर लिया, would have solved that easy set and one more set. So I would think 10, 11 questions के बाद ही तुम्हारा 99 percentile आएगा इसमें. So I would keep it at that, right? And so coming to the quant section. So verbal, we are kind of agreed that we are on the same level as last year, and DILR is also more or less similar to last year in slot two. One easy set, one very tough set, and two doable sets kind of thing. What about the quants? What is the story in the quant section?
I would say that in mocks, I used to do around like 15 or 16 questions in like each of the mocks. So that was my average, like 16 to 17. But in actual CAD, I only solved 11. So there was a bit lag there. But most of the questions which I encountered on my experience were, I was trying to solve them, but I couldn't get to the answer. So I
Okay.
didn't mark those. So probably my time was a little wasted there in like 6 to 7 questions. If that would have been solved by me, so my attempt in the section would have been like 17 questions.
So 6 to 7 speed breakers. That means
Yeah, can be said.
these were arithmetic questions mostly or algebra.
Mostly,
Or
yeah, mostly arithmetic.
okay. Did others also have some similar experience?
Yes, sir.
So, sir, personally, my quant is a little on the weaker side. So, in the first iteration, I could only do 5 questions, and I had around 20 minutes left. So, most of the question on the face of it were looking difficult for me. Overall, I attempted 10. In the second iteration, there were 5 questions more that I could solve after spending some time.
Okay.
So, compared to 2020, I think it is on a difficult side from 2020 quant section, I would say. But again, my quant is weak, so I would not be the best person to comment.
But slot two quants definitely lengthier
Yes, sir.
and definitely lengthier and also tougher. So have you taken the 21 or 20 papers recently? The other people,
Yeah, I've
Yes, sir.
actually taken 21 also.
and have you seen the paper recently? So if you've seen it, would you put it similar or tougher? Cat 21 slot, Cat 21 paper, quants versus
Sir,
Cat 20
like,
quants. Yeah.
sir,
I would say that
previously
it
in
was
CAT
mostly
2021,
similar.
Yeah, one at a time. Shubhankar, बोल दो पहले.
Sorry.
Yeah, you can go ahead with what you're saying, Shubhankar.
I was actually saying, sir, that it was mostly similar, like maybe only 5 to 10% change on the difficult side, but mostly similar in, in wise of perception. Like you are entering the set and you are encountering those questions which you can do or you're not. So perception was same, uh, which was like CAT 2021 only, but because of some speed breakers, so it would be like 5 to 10% on the tougher side.
So you're talking about quants, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, okay. What about Anirudh? What is your experience? Can you
sir,
compare?
I found this paper similar to the CAT 2021 slot 3. Previously, the slot 3 was on the lengthier side, so I found the level much similar to the slot 3. As compared to the slot 2 of 2021, it was definitely on the higher side because some questions, as you have marked, like 6 to 7 questions were speed breaker, and it took a lot of time. So I would compare it with the slot 3 2021.
So that means that if you're looking at percentile predictions, if you're looking at percentile predictions from last year or this year, let me just try to open up.
Last year, if I remember, so like 14 to 15 marks, you could get around 85 percentile in quant section. I'm talking about slot 3 because I've given slot 3 last year. So that's why I was only saying that it's like 5 to 10% on the tougher side
So
against that.
last year का spread मेरे पास है यहाँ पे 29 marks पे 95 percentile था. I'm talking about scale score. So we यहाँ पे that is a caveat. We are looking at raw score. वहाँ पे हम लोग scale score को देख रहे हैं. And 44 marks पे 99 percentile था last year in quants. I'm talking about scale scores. So given the fact that this is on the slightly more difficult side, maybe there will be a downside to this number. And it might come down to by around 3-4 marks, maybe 40-42 के range में रहेगा ये. So if I look at the composite analysis, we are looking at 42 to 45 for wobble for 99 percentile. We are looking at DILR. We are looking at around 30 to 32 for 99 percentile. And for quants, we are looking at again 40 to 42 for 99% at this range. So what that gives me is a pretty similar this thing. If I look at the addition of these three, it's 112 marks. And typically, as I said, the thumb rule, the best way to analyze is what is the 99 percentile of a section. If you add all the 99 percentile, if somebody scores 99 percentile exactly, and you can do this across stat papers, if somebody scores 99 percentile exactly, quants, DI, and verbal, overall the score ends up at somewhere around 99.7 plus. So this 99.7 is happening in the morning. To tell you guys, in the morning slot, when I one caveat I have when I'm analyzing the paper this year is I have not seen the paper. So I will definitely do a look at the paper and solve the paper myself to get that feel once the paper comes out and tell you guys what it is. And maybe I'll show the solution also on this channel. But based on second-hand reports that I'm getting and based on what I'm hearing, 99.7 percentile comes to 112 marks, which is very similar to last year's numbers. Because last year we typically maybe 114, 115 पे आया था numbers ये तीनों का addition. But इसका अगर higher end देखेंगे तो 115 हो ही जाएगा ये. If we take any one of these numbers on the higher end, this will go to 115. So just for clarity, let me tell you when I did this analysis for slot 1 based on slot 1 today, this number was coming at 106, 107 in slot 1. So based on that, our immediate initial reaction was that and typically 12 to 14% below this, 12 to 14% marks below the 99.7 percentile, you'll get the 99 percentile. So usse then you can go percentage up and down. Just say for example, if you look at from 99, the gap between 99 percentile to 97 percentile, the drop is around 15%, 15-17% score-wise. If you score around 17% marks less than the 99 percentile guy, you will get 97 percentile. And the drop between 97 to 95 is another 10% marks. So once you can identify what the 99 percentile is, if you can identify based on this, the 99 percentile is coming at around 9900 marks. Subah slot 1 के analysis पे I was getting a 99 percentile at 93, 92 because the slot 1 DILR seemed to be very tough according to the reports I have got. So this was where the 99 percentile lied in the morning slots analysis. So अगर इतना gap रहेगा दोनों में, so that means this slot 1 will be upgraded in terms of the normalizing process of the marks. So there will be a updation or an increase of marks when we go to scale scores. For slot 1, अगर इतना रहेगा, especially DILR में रहेगा, because DILR में slot 1 more or less we found the same number here and we found the same number here. But in data interpretation logical reasoning, we found this number to be around 27, 28. 9 questions somebody did in the first slot, he or she would be pretty okay at the more or less at the 99 percentile in the DRR section. So that's what it is. So broadly, the numbers would then be more or less similar: 99, 112, 113 marks, 99 percentile, 99, 98 marks, 99 percentile. Then around 80, 81 marks will be 97 percentile, and then 72 marks, 70 to 73 marks will be 95 percentile. That would be those would be the numbers. Let me just clean this up a little bit, or let me just come up with a. Let me open a fresh page, and I'll just give you this analysis on this page. Of course, these are all speculations, and based on your reports and my understanding of the reports. So please take this with a pinch of salt. As I said, I'll do a deeper analysis once I can see the paper myself. That's one of the reasons I go for the exam. But this year I decided not to go for the exam. I took an easy way out, and a lot of people keep requesting me not to take the paper also. So I said कि चलो ठीक है step नहीं करते हैं. But these are the numbers that are coming out for slot 2 for me. 112. So 99 percentile would be at around 98 marks. 98, 99. 112 to 114 is this number. So 97 percentile would be at around 80, 81 marks. And 95 percentile would be at around 71 to 73 marks. And 90 percentile would end up at around 60 marks, 58 to 60. And 85 percentile will be at around 47, 48 to 50 marks. This would be the band. Of course, this band can, I mean, if this estimate is wrong, then if this estimate comes down, then the whole band comes down. So that's, take it as a caveat. And but broadly, matlab, if you are in the 80-81 range, if you're not getting 97, you'll get maybe 96.5 or you might get 97.5, depending on whether this is going up or down actually in the paper. So that's the analysis. I hope this helped all of you. Thank you so much for joining me, and do continue following the channel. And this is for slot 2. This is my analysis for slot 2, or my estimates for slot 2. Just to remind those of you who are still interested, the slot 1.
Sir, I want to ask one question. That
106, 106, 107 that I got when I analyzed it in the morning slot. So around 5 marks minus आ रहा था सब चीज में इसमें. हाँ बोलो.
I wanted to ask that why does it happen, especially in quant section, that in mocks when you are solving, you are able to solve many of the questions. Even after giving the paper, you know that out of 22 questions, I'll be able to solve 20, 21 if given enough time. Okay, but when you go into the CAT, so those kind of questions also seem a bit tougher, and they become your speed breakers. So you either have two choices to make. Either you do it with a unlimited amount of time, or you just leave it. So that's what happened with me today also, that 6 to 7 questions were speed breakers, so I just left it. Even after midway I was solving them but couldn't get to the answer. So I just wanted to know that why does this happen.
There will be 2 reasons for it. One reason is that your state of mind is slightly more on edge on the D-Day, or when you're actually solving CAT. So that could be one of the reasons. The second, the opposite reason could be that you are, the paper is actually tougher. The paper has actually turned out tougher. There are more twists and turns, less standard questions in this paper than the CAT, than the mock papers. So, वो भी हो सकता है reason. But most of the time, the reason is more about, because typically mocks are tougher than original CATs. That's the thumb rule, especially in quants. But I think 90% of the reason is because you are solving with an edge, because it's a D-Day. So there's an element of fear that comes into your solving. That's the reason this happens.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to eliminate that.
Yeah, it's hard to eliminate that. The only way it gets eliminated is when you're so well prepared that things become 2 plus 2 for you. If you give an exam where questions that are being asked are like 2 plus 2, pressure will not affect you. So that's the only thing that matters there.
Yeah, by seeing this attempt, I think I'll have to give one more attempt next year. So I'll probably try this, to get lightning fast in quant.
Yeah. You need to do that, and maybe you also need when you get stuck in a couple of questions, you need a couple of grid solved solutions so that you come back on time on the paper. ठीक है? चलो.
Yes,
so thank you. Thanks everyone.
One thing, sir.
Yeah.
You said about 2 plus 2, 4, sir. This reminded me of your preface of how to prepare for CAT your book, sir. And I just wanted to thank you so much, sir, especially for chapter 5. It has done wonders, sir. Even if my score is not up to that mark, but I understand that how much it has helped me, and it has been a privilege to talk to you, sir. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Thanks everybody. Thanks Tejas. Chapter 5 means percentage.
Yes, sir. Percentages chapter. I had never thought of percentages like that. It has changed it completely. And even in the preface, when you say that, okay, 63 into 97, like that should be like 2 plus 2. So
Right.
not just practice questions, but conceptual things like this help you tackle the exams better.
Yeah.
And it has just been great that
You can
I got
actually
a
apply.
chance.
You can actually apply it to any area. You can apply it to management. You can apply it to your career and everything. Where when things large problems become like 2 plus 2 for you, then there's no stopping your life. Right, Chalo, all the best stages. Very nice meeting you, and Anirudh, very nice meeting you, and Subhankar, all three of you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much for joining. Thanks.
Thanks.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks everybody else for tuning in. Bye bye. I'll be
Bye.
live again 8 o'clock approximately for the last for the final analysis. So slot 1 or 2 to बताई दिया मैंने. Slot 3 I'll take, and of course I'll do an analysis. That I promise. I'll do an analysis once the papers are available. Once they give the full papers. Because when I actually solve it, तब मेरे को समझ में आ जाता है पूरा. I get a feeling कि वो क्या था, difficulty level exactly. See, that's one of the reasons I take the paper. But this year I decided not to. चलो ठीक है. Thank you so much. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye.